principles of Buddhism.
Something's trying to get our attention, trying to tell us something.
The Hindu Trimurti.
We see it going back very, very far into the earliest aspects of human history.
And the Holy Trinity of Christianity.
The number represents a portal, a gateway into another realm.
Throughout human history, the number 3 has always had a unique significance. But why?
No matter what ancient culture you look at, the highest ones always came as 3s.
What is it about the number 3 that makes it play such a big role in religion, architecture, and even the occult? And could there be an extraterrestrial connection?
Once we understand this power of 3, we ourselves will become like our creators, the gods.
Millions of people around the world believe we have been visited in the past by extraterrestrial beings. What if it were true? Did ancient aliens really help to shape our history? And if so, might the secrets of the universe be revealed by examining the incredible power of 3? Newgrange, Ireland. The walls of this 5,000-year-old passage tomb are decorated with mysterious designs made up of 3 connected spirals. Yunnan Province, China. 3 1,100-year-old Buddhist temples, known as the 3 pagodas, form a triangle thought to protect the population from natural disasters. Ancient Greece. According to myth, the destiny of gods and men is controlled by all-powerful beings known as the 3 fates. Various cultures across the world have long shared a belief that the number 3 represents something sacred, mystical, even divine.
All human beings understand numbers. All of us live in a physical universe where things come in different numbers. And so different cultures will highlight different numbers as particularly important, ritualize them, and make them culturally important. We see widespread use of the number 3 in European traditions, but also we see it in selected traditions around the world too. These number traditions can become very, very powerful and connect cultures together.
The unique reverence for the number 3 dates back thousands of years and can still be found today in art, architecture, mythology, literature, science, and religion. But why? What is it about this number that has continued to hold such significance for mankind?
If you think of our lives, we have a past, a present, and a future. Our story falls neatly into 3. Throughout folklore and mythology, we find the number 3. Something about 3 is trying to get our attention, trying to tell us something.
The number 3 comes up many, many times in Judeo-Christian scriptures. Jonah is in the belly of the whale for 3 days. In Genesis, the waters are separated from the earth after 3 days. In the New Testament, Jesus in the tomb for 3 days. There's just a special significance there.
We see the number 3 in sacred texts. And why is that? Is there something within us that is hardwired to understand that 3 is a sacred number? And where does this come from?
The Giza Plateau, Egypt. 3 great pyramids line the desert just outside of Cairo. Constructed more than 4,000 years ago, this unique trio of monuments is arguably the most recognizable in all the world. The pyramids also employ the most magnificent use of triangles in architecture.
You had in ancient Egypt what we might think of as a Masonic tradition. There were the builders themselves who embodied the knowledge of geometry, the knowledge of tool making, and how to put buildings together, and especially how to create buildings that were themselves the vehicles for initiating or inducing higher consciousness.
The Giza pyramids are very interesting in that you have 3 major pyramids. Their sides are triangles. Think of the triangle, the simplest, most perfect geometric form.
The ancients were certainly intrigued by geometry, indeed sacred geometry. And certainly a triangle is one of those basic archetypal shapes that perhaps is hardwired into the human consciousness, and this may find expression in monuments such as the pyramids.
You've got that progress towards perfection towards the top of the triangle. It's a very upward directed, higher directed shape, and I think we kind of get that on a subconscious level.
So there is a sense in which the number 3 in the form of the triangle, in the form of the apex of the pyramid, represents a portal, a gateway into another realm. You might say it's a realm of the gods.
Do the 3 pyramids of Giza really represent some sort of portal to a divine realm? Perhaps more clues about the sacred nature of the triangle can be found by examining the work of one of the most celebrated mathematicians of all time. Samos, Greece, 6th century BC. Greek mathematician and philosopher Pythagoras introduces his famous theorem: a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The formula explains the mathematical relationship between the 3 sides of right triangles. And some believe it was originally based on the design of the Egyptian pyramids.
Pythagoras lived 2,500 years ago. It is said that he studied with the great teachers of Egypt, and he brought the wisdom of Egypt back to Greece. That, in effect, was the birth of Greek philosophy.
For Pythagoras, and for a lot of ancient philosophers, mathematics was a kind of more precise description of the supernatural. They're coming to terms with man's place on this earth, and one of the ways you do that is by measurements, and measurements have to develop, and when they develop more complex mathematics. And Pythagoras is one of the very early philosophers to develop this stuff.
Pythagoras taught that every
everything in the universe has a three-part structure, and every problem in the universe can be reduced diagrammatically to a triangle. To Pythagoras and his followers, the triangle represented ascension in the triangle itself, and the number 3 was the key to all the hidden mysteries.
In Carnac, France, there are thousands of megalithic standing stones that are over 6,000 years old, and many of them are in the form of a right triangle or a Pythagorean triangle, and they were built many thousands of years before Pythagoras. These same geometric relationships of the right triangle have also been found at Avebury and Stonehenge. And you have to ask yourself, does the Pythagorean triangle represent some kind of special extraterrestrial geometry, a geometry of threes?
The bottom line is that a squared plus b squared equals c squared applies to the entire universe. And so for Pythagoras to come up with this, of course, is extraordinary, but he was not the first.
So we know that Pythagoras got this information from ancient Egypt, and the ancient Egyptians themselves say that this was knowledge from the gods. So what we have is a situation whereby the ancient Egyptians got this information from a non-human intelligence, from an extraterrestrial source, preserved it in secret for thousands of years. And Pythagoras is really the first one to take it outside of Egypt and basically begin to speak to the world about what it is, what the ancient Egyptians knew about this divine information.
Did Pythagoras really get his knowledge of geometry and its profound connection to the universe from an otherworldly source?
Pythagorean triangle may contain wisdom that we still haven't understood in terms of how physical terrestrial geometry connects to extraterrestrial domains that may coexist with our own.
Did extraterrestrial visitors provide early humans with advanced mathematical information? Information that would help them unlock the secrets of the universe? And if so, why? And what is the secret of the number 3? Is it a code? Or could it be a gateway to communication with mankind's alien ancestors? Ancient astronaut theorists believe further evidence can be found by examining a mysterious artifact, one that could very well change the world. Cambridge University, England. Here, in the library of this 800-year-old institution,